Good day, everybody, and welcome to Miss Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread, and today we're going to be covering a video by Fireborn called Over 800 Games Removed from Steam After Fake Game Scam. I was unaware of this. I must not have been on Steam during this time. I don't know anything about this. So I clicked on it quickly and realized this is a story. This is something I want to cover. So here we go. I guess I'm calling my video like probably the biggest Steam scam you might never have heard of or something like that, because I had not heard of this. So let's get into this. As always, original video link down below by Fireborn. Go check it out for yourself by clicking on a link. Don't forget to check out my links down below as well. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. All that good stuff. Appreciate you all so much. Let's get into this.
Last night, you may have noticed steep discounts for several new and trending titles on Steam, such as Helldivers 2. But if you purchased these games, you might be confused when you opened them up and realized they weren't what you paid for. This scam set off an insane chain reaction, eventually leading to the removal of almost 800 games from the Steam store.
There was 800. So this is 9 days ago, and this is the 11th as I'm recording this. So apparently this happened roughly 2nd of March, first 2nd of March. There was 800 Steam games that were all a scam that all got removed. How did I miss that? Apparently I wasn't, I know there's a few weeks there where I wasn't really checking Steam too much other than just playing games. I usually go through and see what's new and what's interesting, but sometimes I just get away from that. Probably during that time, I guess. I had no idea about this.
But it's also led many to be confused. After all, Steam responded to the scam almost immediately, and there's
Palworld. How did somebody call a fake game Palworld? Helldivers 2. Counter-Strike 2 Prime status upgrade. Last Epoch. Helldivers 2 again. Escape from Tarkov. How does that happen? How do you name your game something that's already there? That's very strange.
There's no way the developer expected to get a payday from Valve when they only pay out at the end of each month. In this video, I'm going to explain to you the real reason behind the scam, because what we saw last night wasn't the actual scam, it was a prelude to the scam.
Product code you've entered has already been activated by an existing Steam account and is therefore invalid. Your activation of Palworld has not been completed. Strange. What is this scam? What is it about?
Explain to you the real reason behind the scam, because what we saw last night wasn't the actual scam, it was a prelude to the scam. And that scam might very well still happen despite Valve nuking their entire operation. But let's start from the beginning.
Please do.
Last night I was browsing Steam for sales and surprisingly noticed Helldivers 2 showing up with a 75% off discount
Jeez, I'll buy it.
Top of the sales tab. I was immediately suspicious, and clicking on the game brought me to a store page, which appeared to be legitimate, listing the actual developer and publisher of Helldivers 2.
That looks like it.
I clicked on the developer name, and it brought me to the real Arrowhead Game Studios page. So most would assume that this game had to have been posted by Arrowhead Game Studios. But as you might have guessed, this store page was not the real Helldivers 2 store page.
Really?
It was a near perfect spoof of it. But there were a few exceptions. There were only a small number of reviews, and the popular user tags for the game were not what
Puzzle, education, point and click, arcade 2D, and 36 negative reviews. Just shows you gotta check all this stuff out before you buy a game, people. You really do.
You would expect. Scrolling down to the reviews, of course, people were screaming it was a scam.
Not Helldivers 2. Don't buy this scam game. Unless it's to play it 5 minutes, give it a negative review, and then refund it. Scam. So, okay, you've only got 5 products in your account. So you're probably a very young person who just didn't know any better. You've got 655 products in your account. What are you doing clicking on this unless you thought it was a scam and you just wanted to check it? Otherwise, you should know better. Oh, interesting.
If you purchased the game, downloaded it, and opened it up, what you would actually be playing was a game called Figurality. See, last night,
awesome.
within a 2-hour time frame, 6 different titles were suddenly renamed and became...
Oh, so Do Not Smile was renamed Helldivers 2. Best Fighter was renamed to Counter-Strike 2. Stolen Mushrooms was renamed Pal World. Figurality was renamed Helldivers 2. Extreme Riding was renamed Escape from Tarkov, and Furious Rage was renamed Last Epoch. Who renamed them? That would be the first thing I'd want to know.
Became Helldivers 2, Pal World, Escape from Tarkov, Last Epoch, and a Counter-Strike 2 Prime status upgrade for some reason. In each case, their store pages were spoofed to appear almost identical to the real store pages, but the games were offered at a hefty discount. A community manager for Pal World posted on Twitter about the issue, referring to it as a wave of fake games and quite concerning, stating that they hope no one was tricked into purchasing. The CEO of Arrowhead Game Studios similarly posted about the issue, asking just how store dupes of their game with Arrowhead Game Studios tags were even possible.
Apparently, store dupes of Helldivers 2 with stolen imagery from the game and posing as us, with Arrowhead GS tags and all. How is this possible, Steam? For all out there wanting to get the game on Steam, check user reviews beforehand to avoid being bamboozled. Yeah, sounds like a good idea, but those are good questions. How is that possible, Steam?
And that's the question, isn't it? Let's dig into this even more. Given that this was all done in the span of 2 hours, it's reasonable to conclude that it wasn't a coincidence. This was all done by the same person. In the case of Figurality, it was a game released originally on November 4th, 2023, and lists the developer Soul on Board Studio. Eventually, this developer renamed to Albobs and then B-Side Studio, last night ultimately becoming Arrowhead Game Studios. It was the same story with all the other games. These games all released on November 4th, 2023, using a bogus developer name, were renamed twice to other bogus names, and were then finally used to spoof a real game developer.
Somebody clearly had a plan for this. Interesting.
Development company. Shortly following the creation of these spoofed pages, the store pages for these games were removed. Valve received reports from the developers and publishers and responded promptly. In the span of just a few hours, people could no longer purchase these scam games. In other words, Valve had dealt with the issue.
Did they really,
closed, right? Not quite. As of this morning, this scammer still had games listed under 3 aliases: B-Side Studio, Fest Studio, and Oak Sand. The games were all released in November 2023, and shortly after I saw them, they were already hidden on Steam. But it's clear that these games were being uploaded by the dozen and were not legitimate game projects.
Wouldn't Steam do some research and figure this out themselves? Are they not? Why are they not catching all this? Once those games get taken down, why are they not doing the research to check for more games by the same person? That should just be basic stuff.
Their prices were artificially inflated to ridiculous levels, which is a tactic done to exploit the Steam review system. It works like this. Steam reviews only count toward the review score if they're purchased through Steam. A developer can drop the price of their game, purchase it on numerous fake accounts, post fake reviews using those accounts, and then bump the price back up. The inflated price prevents any legitimate purchases of the game, so no one can leave a review that will actually affect the review score. As evidence of this, the lowest recorded price for Figurality...
It's like botting. Basically, it's like botting. That's fucking terrible, man.
in Russian rubles specifically, is weirdly low compared to all the others. That's because developers set regional pricing on Steam. They simply drop the regional price of their game in their region to an extremely low price, then buy it up on numerous accounts and raise the price back to normal. These fake reviews meant people opening up the store page for Helldivers 2 or Palworld
are seeing great reviews. Bought and paid for by the developer. Sneaky. People are smart. I mean, devious and twisted and crooked, but smart.
Saw mostly positive or overwhelmingly positive reviews. Ultimately, this exploit aided in the spoofing of these game store pages. But this doesn't explain how scammers can just take on the name of an established developer or publisher. Yeah. Steam takes a 30% cut of game sales. One would think they would have regulations in place to prevent such changes from ever happening.
You think so?
Instead, scammers can change which developer is placed on their game seemingly at will to anything they want, which is kind of crazy. This scammer literally changed his name to Valve. In a previous video, I called out a scammer named Atomic Fabric, aka Christian Monolaki. His response was literally just removing his name from all of his games, or using one of his dozens of aliases. If scammers on Steam can just change their names at will, how are we supposed to keep them accountable for their actions?
Exactly.
Regardless, to their credit, Steam has removed the games
That's
very
a plot hole they
quickly,
need to
and
fix.
users, at least the ones who have opened the games to realize they've been scammed, can easily refund the titles. However, I would argue that the real scam isn't even happening on Steam. It's happening on gray market websites. These scam games may have been removed from the store and retired from Steam, but if
Talk about black market sites. Why do you call it gray market? Never heard that term.
you look at the package, the restrictions are just placed on cross-region trading and gifting. Key redemption appears to be possible as normal. And this is very important because a user on Reddit named Tree Smasher FTW noted how they had purchased a random Steam key.
Give you some interesting info. That company creates fake games that are then given out through the Steam key sellers. They claim them to be AAA games with a hefty price tag. You buy like 5 keys for a cheap amount, they throw those in. I thought that dev group seemed familiar because all the games I got were from them. In fact, that Stolen Mushroom game sounds just like a game I was given through that same system. Yeah, I'm not quite understanding.
Key bundle, and all the games they received were from B-Side Studio, one of the aliases the scammer uses. In case you don't know what random Steam key bundles are, well, they're exactly what they sound like, just not random. Vendors promise that the games included in their random key packs will have great reviews and be high-value games. But the reviews are fake and the prices are inflated.
Wow.
Tree Smasher FTW noted that upon trying to redeem the key for Stolen Mushrooms, the game which was spoofed as Palworld, that the key showed up as just Palworld. This is the scam. Even though the spoofed Palworld store page was removed, Steam still seems to recognize the game as Palworld. Of course, it isn't Palworld, it's Stolen Mushrooms. Unless Valve bans these keys from use, they can still be sold on gray market sites. And even if the keys are banned, the keys already registered to accounts will likely still show up as the games that they're spoofing. For example, the developer of Only Up removed the game from the Steam store and retired it from Steam. But if you look in your Steam library, the game still appears as normal. Selling accounts with games already registered to them is a common practice on gray market sites, and it might be about to get a lot more profitable. Random Steam key bundles were already awful and a total waste of people's money, but now it seems like people might start receiving popular titles only to realize they're fake after downloading and opening them up. And good luck getting a refund from G2A support for these games when they show up as completely normal in your library. Now here's where things start getting funny, because this imbecile had the gall to disguise themselves as Valve. But after their scam games were removed, they didn't stop there. A variety of sequels to incredibly popular games all at once started popping up in Steam's database. Dota 3, Elden Ring 2, Rust 2, Ready or Not 2, Lethal Company 2, Last Epoch 2, and Grand Theft Auto 6. What a wild coincidence, right? But after that, immediately following, nearly 800 games were removed from the Steam store. One of my favorite things is that even during this massive purge of games, the scammer was still trying to sneak more games onto the store.
So don't buy bundles of Steam games or Steam keys on sites, because this is the kind of thing you're going to get now. I guess that's what the warning should be for this. Also, obviously, if you're buying something on Steam, be very, very careful that it's actually what it is. Check. It's a really popular game. Go check the review scores. Go check different things to make sure. But yeah, that's an amazing scam that I had not heard of.
I don't know how many of the 800 games were from this scammer specifically. Given how they pump them out by the dozen, I believe it's possible that they all were, but it was really just a beautiful sight to see. However, it's also kind of a testament to how many scam games get onto Steam and for such a long time go without any repercussion. Like, this dumbass had to actually impersonate Valve in order for them to do something. And meanwhile, scammers like Atomic Fabric and Heat have been doing this for years and barely even have to hide it. Either way, it's a mostly happy ending to the story, unless you buy random Steam key packs, which I've hopefully convinced you not to.
Yeah, probably
Why buy one of those random Steam key packs when you can just buy Hollow Knight instead? And keep an eye out for similar videos from me in the future, because I want to create a community where we can collectively point and laugh at
Pretty cool stuff. So that is my coverage of the biggest Steam scam you've probably never heard of. Thank you to Fireborn. This was very educational, actually. And I hope you got something out of this. Entertainment, if nothing else, but hopefully also, you gained a little wisdom on this and a little insight into what's going on with people who are very unscrupulous and are out for money from somebody. So for Miss Valley Entertainment News, hoping to cover more things like this. I may have to subscribe to Fireborn to keep up on this stuff. For Miss Valley Entertainment News, my name is Dread. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. You are what makes this channel what it is. It's not me, it's you. So get involved in conversations, ask questions, give opinions, be polite, and let's keep this thing rocking. I appreciate you all once again. Good night.